Hello, hello, hello. I'm so excited. Tomorrow we start Love Like a Queen. And if you don't know, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't know, hello Emily, hello Harper. Thanks for tuning in. Love to you both. Mwah. If you don't know, Love Like a Queen is my 2-month intensive mastermind for women who want to love deeply and stay in their power. For women who want to show up in their relationships from a place of self-love and sovereignty. This is for women who want to harness their innate feminine magnetism so they can emanate abundance, so they can emanate safety, so they can receive more from the masculine. This is for women who want to heal their abandonment fears, rejection fears, codependency wounds. This is for women who want to attract and create soul-aligned relationships which feel truly nourishing, intimate, and authentic. The women that I've called in so far, the women that I'm calling in, are those who are ready for transformation and healing to level up in the way they love and in the way they have relationships. It's going to be beautiful, powerful, magical. Yeah. All the feels, all the things. So what I wanted to touch on was unsafe love and safe love, and how to distinguish the difference. So when we're still carrying our childhood wounds, when we're still carrying unprocessed trauma in our bodies from childhood, we tend to magnetize towards partners and create relationships which are an emotional resonance to our trauma. So if we grow up in a home where we felt emotionally neglected, where we felt abandoned, where we was abandoned, where we felt mistreated, disrespected, unaccepted, and we're still carrying this in our psyche, then it tends to dictate the relationships that we have as adults. And often we don't even know that this is playing out, especially in the early days, because this unsafe love, it's familiar. There's actually a sense of comfort in it because it's what we're used to. And when I say unsafe love, I mean the love that is inconsistent, that's there and then it's not. The love that causes us to self-sacrifice and compromise and overgive. If that's something that we got very good at as children, then when we attract it as adults, it can feel like the real thing. It can feel like love. And as children, our nervous systems would have been working very hard for us. If we were in environments that didn't feel emotionally or physically safe, then as part of our survival, our body had to adapt to that. Our mind had to adapt to that. And usually this means that we disown certain aspects of ourselves. The part of us that is vulnerable and has needs becomes fragmented and separate. It becomes unconscious, subconscious, which creates the shadow self. And as children, if we were in this home where there was a lot of stressful emotions, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of emotional repression, mental health, substance abuse. As children, we would have been on a bit of an emotional roller coaster, and we may not even know that now. We may not look back and see that that was playing out because our system got very good at protecting us from what was actually happening, so that we didn't have to feel vulnerable and that our needs weren't being met. So we tend to become very self-sufficient, and we tend to self-soothe our way through life so that we can just function. Oh, I just had someone message me about the course. So if this is the case, if I'm speaking to you and this resonates right now, what tends to happen is that because we're still holding this emotional frequency in our system, the people that hold an emotional resonance of this, say the unavailable ones, the inconsistent ones, the ones with substance abuse issues, mental health issues, what have you, and I'm not saying that to shame them, I'm just stating the dynamic. We tend to polarize with those people, and instantly it brings us this feeling of familiarity that almost feels comforting. And actually they're just the polarity of our wounding. Usually they're emanating some kind of frequency which feels very similar to a parent who we felt rejected by. And so when we start connecting with them, on a cellular level, our body has a memory of this feeling that we understood to be love, even if actually it wasn't. It was abuse, it was neglect, it was attachment. And so a part of us lights up. The nervous system engages again and goes, oh, it's that feeling, it's that rush, it's that familiarity that I know, I remember this. Maybe it's past life stuff, maybe it's my soulmate, maybe it's my twin flame. And one of the indications, one of the red flags that I've learned to be particularly evident is that if you meet this unsafe person, and I don't mean that they're point blank unsafe, I mean that they're unsafe for you, that it's just going to reaffirm and recreate your trauma. It's not actually going to lead you to the intimacy that you think it will. So if you start engaging in this unsafe relationship, usually what comes with that is this feeling of overwhelm and excitement and lust and desire. And it feels magnetic because it is magnetic, because it's an emotional resonance of your trauma. And so it feels heavy, it feels strong. And it usually starts off moving very, very fast. Sometimes it can end before it truly begins. But my point is that when we actually meet the safe person, when we start engaging with the emotionally available person, we don't get this rush usually. Our nervous system doesn't go into overdrive. We don't have this familiar emotional feeling. And so we tend to question if we're even attracted to them, if we fancy them, if there's even potential. We kind of have this feeling that we're interested, but because we're not on the high, we're not getting that fix that we're used to of the unobtainable person and of the inconsistency, the person that we have to figure out and dissect and play games with, the person that always keeps us on our toes, that makes us question our worthiness. If we're not getting that, we can push it away. We can actually reject that person because they're not giving us that fix that we're used to. Even though that fix causes us to suffer, even though that fix re-traumatizes us, if we're not actually ready and available for real intimacy and connection that goes beyond ego and personality, then we can reject the safe relationship and the safe, available person who is ready to show up for us. And so I guess what I want to highlight is, if you're someone that's very used to being on this emotional roller coaster with someone, of this highs and lows and feeling alive and then dead, alive and then dead, and it feels confusing and grey and conflicting, does that remind you of something you felt before? Does it breed this feeling of familiarity? Does it make you question yourself? Does it make you doubt yourself? Does it make you shrink? And if so, this is the part where you get really honest with yourself. And get clear on what it is that you're really desiring from a relationship. Be honest with yourself about the type of relationship you want, how you want to feel, how he feels, how you feel in the relationship with him. What are the frameworks? What are the values? Because usually in these unsafe relationships, all of that goes out the window. We accept crumbs and we tell ourselves that we're being fed. But actually, we're hungry. We're hungry in the way that we were hungry as children. And that doesn't mean that necessarily this person isn't for you and you have to break up with them. It's that you need to start getting really honest with yourself. You need to start standing in integrity with what you really want, with what you desire and what you need. You need to start honouring your boundaries. You need to start creating agreements that you hold yourself accountable to. And if the other person can't honour that and stand in alignment with that, then you might have to make some decisions. Because in the meantime, you're actually cutting yourself off from the soul-aligned love that your heart really wants. The love that goes beyond just the egoic projections and patterns. Because your soul came here to unite. It came to connect. It came to have deep intimacy and raw connection and truth with another being, with other beings. And if you're not receiving that, then you're caught in a trap. You're not actually available to the love that's possible for you.